welcome everybody to our webinar as part of the Agile 20 Reflect initiative around the world. And this is our contribution from Teal Unicorn to that in the English language. So I'm your facilitator for the day. I'm Rob England. I'm a consultant mostly in the IT world around management and new ways of working. It's my pleasure today to introduce to you Dr. Cherry Vu, who will be doing the presentation today. So Cherry is Vietnamese, if you hadn't guessed, and she grew up in Vietnam in the terrible deprivations after the American War, and managed to get herself to
be alive.
To be alive, first of all, and to not starve to death, and to get to university in Vietnam and do several degrees. The only girl in her town to get to university that year, and then went on to do a MBA in public policy in Potsdam in Germany, and a PhD in public policy in New Zealand, which is where I met Dr. Vu. She's the founder of the Business Agility Institute in Vietnam, and it's a global thing. She started the Vietnamese chapter of that. She was one of 100 women in Lean In Agile group, and she is the ambassador for Vietnam for the Agile 20 Reflect. And so it's my pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Cherry Vu. Over to you, Cherry.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us.
We are Teal Unicorn. We work as a consulting firm around the world. So Teal is an interesting logo. An interesting name. It comes from the idea of teal as a paragon of high culture, and that word teal has entered the language in the Agile community. It comes from unicorn as an aspiration for the operating model of organizations. And our motto is to make work better work, better results, better lives, and better society. So that's our aspiration. We consult in New Zealand and Vietnam mostly, but we do other work around, especially the region and the world. We train quite a bit around Asia Pacific, both on site and globally. And we do coaching and create content on a global basis. Our company is actually called Two Hills, but Teal Unicorn is our brand. So Dr. Vu is, as I said, has a PhD in public policy, and she has a background in business and enterprise, having created several companies of her own and consulted for 16 years to government and industry. And I, as I said, I'm an IT guy who lately I work a lot in business agility and culture and so on. You can find us on Twitter at Dr. Cherry Vu and at Rob England. And if you hadn't already guessed, we are partners in both life and work. We wrote a book called The Agile Manager with a Small A. To you, Cherry, now to tell us about some of the success we've had in Vietnam with the work you've been doing.
Thank you so much, Rob. When I have 1 hour to talk, I said to Rob that I love to talk about what we've done and what they've got in Vietnam. So, but I had to pick up just a few cases. So just give you some ideas. The first case I want to tell is Huỳnh Thúy Hằng. Huỳnh Thúy Hằng is the CEO of Vĩnh Đức. It's a real estate company. When we first met, they have more than 40 employees, and they have the problem with the middle management and make the culture so bad, too much competition. They pay employees individually. So before we met, they have this kind of structure. Every single team have one team lead, and they just only work among the team, exchange information, and also because they pay individual and they don't have a fixed salary or some money salary or anything like that. If you sell a house, you get a big commissions, otherwise you don't. They have a supporting team, and the leader of the team, Hằng, never work with people. She actually only work with team leads. They also have the functional team who work closely with leaders, and that's it. So you can imagine how the culture it be. In real estate, what what people sell is actually the information, but people didn't share information to each other because it's risky for them. When we start working with her, we see the problem of the middle management, the team lead actually create a lot of constraints in the system. So we took out the team lead. We also create the supporting team. The supporting teams also the people in the team who have more experience than the others. That create work structures go much faster, and they got higher revenues and higher income. The team work like this. So if you like someone for a particular deal, you can work with them. They work loosely. Every single house have one different teams. It depends on who will be best for the deal. The teams all self-organized, but conflict of interest is still there because of the individual commission policy. After that, we say, okay, why do we need a functional team? Why don't they just join the team and create the end-to-end process? And that make everything's much faster. Later on, Hans also joined the team. The CEO is also one of the members of the team. She's no more controlling anything. But the biggest trends is, and the biggest outcomes came later on is from the change of payment. When they changed the policy from paying individual to the group to the team is much different. No manager at all. Structure of the company is no longer having hierarchies or anything like that. It's just flat. I am the fans of inviting leadership and open management. So I asked Hans that every single thing, every policy, every decisions, you should put it on the table. Don't do it yourself. Stop making a decision. She stopped making decisions. She put everything on the table, what we call democracy, right? Han do that. So people gradually learned more and more skills. Before that, they have a very limited skills, but now everyone can do each other's work. So they have what we call cross-function team, pay people based on skills, and also all the team organized by skill, what we call shuhari, all the skill in a team that needs to finish the work. Shu, the learner, ha is the people who are good at work already, and Ri is master. So they divide people into Shuhari level and put it in the team to make sure that every single skill have at least one who are good at that. Based on self-assessment and group evaluation, we create the learning organization, so to make sure that every week they have at least 2 hours for learning, exchange idea, concept, understanding, even though they are not having any roles or don't have any team lead or promotion, but they are happy because all of them are better. They have better skills, they have more experience, they have more income. Here's the result. You can see before we change the policy, they start from June last year, and up to now, you can see the difference. You can see that the number of the employees drop a lot, just because some key sales don't feel like they like the policy. They want to have a great sums of money rather than to share with among other. So they left. Operational costs also dropped a lot. Revenue still the same. Average payment for employees increased hugely. I'm very, very proud of this case because of the outcome, and people are much happier and they feel like every single day they are going to have fun. I was a speaker from Agile Vietnam conference. She came to me when I present about business agility and agile enterprise. She said to me, I think life should be like that. Work should be like that. Why is it so difficult? Since then, she just followed me around and she attended a lot of my trainings whenever I came to Hanoi, and she just joined my training. Tulum Villas have one 1,500 people. And here's the result. So she's applied the agile thinking. It's not only at work, but also at home. She's a mother of 4 children. Here's what she did. She make work visualize, fail small, fail fast, fail often, and fail. She dared to fail. And of course, you can see the results here. And I'm so happy with this as well. She said to me at end year's party, we cried and we laughed a lot. She said, when I change, people change and their lives much happier. Okay, this another case. They made lingerie. They apply stand-up meeting every single day, plan, do, check, adjust every single models that they have. Start from a very small number, always start from small step. They improve their sales process and apply the incentive policy. Again, it's all about the Shuhari, their team, self-managing and self-organized teams. They don't have to manage people anymore. No more micromanagement. And again, flip the hierarchy. Actually, they don't have any hierarchies. What they learned is to get out of the way and let people who do the work design the work. They create psychology, safety culture. People dare to talk. Before that, there's nobody talk in the meeting. Now the leader just watch rather than say anything. Is Lan Anh. Lan Anh was a former CEO of a packing factory. She's also the mother of 4 children. The factory is a new one. It's only 2 years old. They are still in the starting mode. That's why they lose for 2 years. Lan Anh met us more than 1 year ago. She applied this value stream mapping, visualization using Kanban. Again, get out of the way. And Lan Anh left the company and start the Habobe, her new company. And I wish all the best for her because she said to me, I think there should be a better way to manage people. 2 years ago, she said, I'm not happy with the way we manage people. Now I know what I have to do. So her Habobe, everyone is a leader. From this lady is Cẩm Lai. I call her fast and furious. They do fashion designs and manufacture and retails as well, mostly in Vietnam. At the beginning, she came to me talking about how bad her people was. They are lazy or negative. They never do what I tell and all about people. Just hang on. Why did they do that? Have you ever thought about the way you manage people that make them be that way? We run the training for Agile Manager and Agile Enterprise, 6 weeks. And the first day, she complained a lot about her stuff. But the second week, she said, I've done it all. I get out of the way. I empower people and I don't tell them what to do anymore. And here's the result. Just after 2 months, she applied end-to-end process, self-organizing teams again, and customer focus. She said, I never ever say anything related to customers because the wholesales to the shops, you still have to understand people who are the user, the real customers, not retail people. And she's do more about that, empowerment, staff's happy. Here's another case. Terms a superwoman. She got 3 companies, 2 in Vietnam and 1 in Thailand. She realized that all of her staff, I think she's here in the call today. She realized that her staff, they are unhappy and the income's not that great. And again, command and control culture. I didn't have all the information about the result, but here's what I got. She have every day stand-up meeting, servant leader. She make everything transparent. Every single thing, finance, people, recruitment, and whatever. Because she have 1 factory in Vietnam and it's food factory actually. She said there's no inventory. It means that her warehouse is empty. Client pay all money. No one have a bad debt, incomes increase and staff much happier. Have 3 companies is not easy. She had to travel back and forth to Vietnam, but since COVID, she couldn't do that. So the only way she have to do is to empower people to do their job and also giving a lot of trust, train the mindset about, we have to do everything big. make everything look good from outside. Now Term said that I am invisible in my company. They don't need me anymore. So I said to Term that yes, but you still can create more value to the companies. Another case is Su Nguyen. Su Nguyen's the owners of lingerie factories. They have low productivity and a lot of cultural issues. She took almost all of her key people to attend our training and also workshop. We have a workshop that called Diggers. We play games. We create a factory. In one day, we change from Lego into Diggers. It's a real factory, and she attended it 3 times, and every single time she said she learned something, and she came back to her factory and changed it. At the beginning, we start a conventional factory. Through the day, we play about 8 or 10 rounds, and each round we stop and improve it. The attendees who actually do all the work, which is the facilitators, to help them, to give them some ideas about how an agile enterprise look like, and then they train in that system. So Sue took all that lessons to apply to her work. You know what? I never ever visited her place, but I help her to do this. That's her factory. I help her with layout, change the warehouse layout, put the visualize, create value stream mapping from end to end, and we change the definition of done. You know what? And the production line was okay, but they get stuck at QC. They didn't include the QC in the production line, so the definitions of done is not include QC. So QCs have a lot of work, and then it create the very low system. So we change the definitions of done. Only that it worked. And using Kanban, visualize everything, Shuhari again, and we apply skills, not roles. No more roles in these factories. And again, people learn other skills, change each other, and everyone can replace each other. No manager, flat structure. This is a very interesting case because before the new way, the revenues here. After it, before the COVID, I said to Sue that you better prepare. So change the way you sell things, marketing, selling, apply agile sales. After we change the physical layouts and definitions of done and all the change in the factory, Sue came back to me say, we have a problem. What's the problem? We produce a lot. Now we need to sell. Otherwise, it's too much inventory. I said, okay, that's nice problem to have. Now we change the way we sell, and we apply the agile sales in April last year when it's locked down in Vietnam. Look at the revenues. Every month, every single month, they sell average is about 7,000 products. But in that particular lockdown time in April, 14,000 productions were sold. This is Hoàng Tuấn Anh and his team. I met a very young and talented man 2 years ago. First time I wrote a series of articles about agile management and agile enterprise in I think it's one of the biggest business group in Vietnam. He read it. Later on, he attended one of my public speakings on agile enterprise. He think that it's something that is like dream world, and it's only happen in somewhere the culture is much more advanced than Vietnam. So he refused and walked away. Later on, he's learned a lot about KPIs. He came back to me and said, Cherry, I'm going to apply this. Do you think it's okay? I said, I think with your small team, we can do it much better and simpler. We don't need to have all this shit. It's too much for a small team. And he attends one of my training and coaching about agile enterprise and agile management. I gave him a homework, said you have 3 months to make your organizations become agile enterprise. 3 months, because you have only 7 people. In 2 months, he did it. Here's the result. It's not so much different from others, but he applied it very, very quickly, from command and control to servant leader. And he took all his team to my training. He been persuaded by Hằng. So you can imagine only 2 months, it's changed that much. He brought his team into a training. The idea is that he said, I want people lead, not me. If they got the right way of thinking, the right method, they will be much better. Almost all of his staff is just my son's age. This is one of our biggest clients in Vietnam, Huyên. Huyên was a CEO of the Garment 10 company. The Garco 10 is one of the biggest garment companies in Vietnam. This is what they do. This is very interesting case because they are privatized from its government and military. You can very well imagine how the culture look like. Here the people is only people in the headquarters. So what we did, before Huyên got retired, she talked to me and say, Sherry, I want to leave a good legacy for my people, for my new generation. So can you come to Vietnam and help us with that? So here's what we did. Train a lot of staff. We introduced balance scorecard, value stream mapping for the whole system from order to deliver. We have to move the central warehouse to a factory. Every single thing that you buy, the factory buy, they have to got the approval from the center, the headquarters. So you can see how the flow of goods go. No matter you buy this cup or no matter you buy millions dollars of machine, it's the same process. So we train staff performance evaluation. We teach them lean. They have a very funny ways of understanding about lean. It's lean, what they call lean 1, lean 2, lean 3. When we came there, we said, what does it mean? It mean that if in one workstation you have one shirt to make, then it's lean 1. And if you have 2 shirts to make, it's a lean 2, and 3 shirts to make, it's lean 3. They apply lean, but the whole system is just stuck. So we correct that. We introduce what is real lean mean. We did Kaizen events to find out the biggest problem of the factories, and we teach them how to go to Gemba. So Gemba is a Japanese concept about the place where the value work happen, teach them culture change and risk management as well. And Rob did IT review. Here is the result. We did 145 improvements. When we go to the Gemba, we found 81 waste. They fixed it just 1 week after. We identify the biggest problem of the factory. The biggest problem of the factories is that they have to stop the production line so many times a month to change the production line. Every single change, every single improvement, we measure how they change from the before and after. This is one of these. It's about the time they do one process. It's a reduce amount. Look at the amounts of time that reduce. So you can imagine, so 145 improvements, how much it changed the system. That's all the story that I want to tell today. The message we want to deliver here is what got you here wouldn't get you there. So we have to change the way we do because of the VUCA war. Our motto, we want to be faster, to be better and happier. We work better, we have better life, we will have better society. Thank you so much. I hope I don't talk too much.
It's wonderful, Cherry. Thank you. Isn't she amazing? So the stuff that Cherry has achieved in Vietnam is just incredible. And these are just some of the clients that we have more information. We continue to do amazing stuff remotely, which I find incredible watching it happen as well. So Cherry runs a coaching group and does consulting remotely and training. We're doing a lot of training remotely, and these success stories just keep happening. So the message, I think, is that these new ways work and that it's all around our approach to management that transforms. New ways of management open us up to new ways of working. And if we don't change how we manage, then we don't change how we work. And for us, it's about new ways of consulting and consulting around these new ideas in order to enable managers to change how they manage. And you can see the effect of it. You can see the consequence. And it's wonderful to have an opportunity at last to share some of this stuff in English. We've got a reasonable number of people on the line, and we've got some people we know and some people we don't know. And I'd be interested for questions. We've got one question already from Dominic, which is, what do you find, if any, special, easier, or harder when introducing agile, all these ideas, to Vietnamese culture or Asian culture as compared to other cultures? Are there cultural differences in applying these?
I think, yes, it's easier and harder at the same time. What is easier is that I realized that Vietnamese keen to learn the new things. It's easier. And when they see the result, they will do it more. But also it's harder. You can see almost all of my stories is about women, almost. I find it's very tough to change the mindset of males in that culture. Lots of people who came to me and say they get it, but from the day they get it to the day they can do it is so long, and I think it's very, very tough. Also, women, not so many women who are achieved that level, right? Being CEO or being managers.
Anybody who makes it, that these women like Tim and Lee are on, and others, to be at that level, you've got to be pretty progressive and very, very smart. It means we're almost starting with an advantage. And any of the guys we engage with are equally progressive and smart for the very fact that they're willing to listen to a woman.
Really, one biggest thing that I find challenge. I don't mean to focus on women, actually. It's just not easy to listen to a woman. I think it's one of the biggest challenges.
I think we have it easy in that it's a reasonably naive country still in terms of new ways of managing and so on. You know, that it's, you know, we strike much more sophisticated organizations in the West are already further down this journey. I think that's true. It makes it a little easier for us.
What we call is we have so much low-hanging fruit so quickly to prove the results.
The thing I see most is what Cherry said, that people are open, that by God, they can move quickly and cleverly once you provide the ideas. In the West, I find maybe more cultural, more political complexity and resistance and conservatism. Maybe not. Maybe it's just the clients we're working with in Vietnam are different. It's actually not that different. People are the same all over the planet, I think, is the real bottom line.
So I have the question. I think about flat structure and self-organized and wonder, how do we assure that we drive in the direction what we want to? When you empower people, when people think that we are all in the same boat and they know where to go, we just like us, because if you think you are the leader, you have to lead, then it's a different. But if you think everyone can be leader and everyone have the same direction, they have the same goal to achieve, then we don't have to worry about this.
And it's not necessarily your vision in the end. So as the owner leader, you might have a particular vision of the organization, but if everybody in the organization has a slightly different one, ultimately you can either try and convince them, or you can end up saying, okay, that's where we're going.
When Hang start bring everything on the table to let people discuss about what's the problem, what we need to do to solve the problem, they feel a little bit scared, because she came back to me and say, Cherry, there's something that I think is very important, but people don't want to talk. I said, if people don't want to talk, then it's not that important. That's the price we have to pay. You want democracy, but you don't want to listen to what people want to say.
And how do we to manage the conflict interest and the conflict is how we do things in different functional. For example, in the workflow, sale, accounting, and marketing, there the interact between the function, and if you let them self-organize, and as you said, if so you have to manage all the conflict between people. Culture, each functional they have, right?
The ideas, what you've just said, functional team is all about silo working. We don't work in that way anymore. So we don't work in a silo. We work
Mm-hmm.
in a cross-functional team. So there's no team that call sales team or marketing team. So it's kind of break down the boundary between teams. Or even if you have to work as a team, then it's always the flows of information. And if you visualize the work, everyone see each other's work, everyone know what the pain point of the other team, then
Mm-hmm.
there's no interest of conflicts anymore. The issues like what Rob would call dead cat syndrome. You
Mm-hmm.
threw the
So
dead cat to the neighbor and you say that's it.
it's some kind of OKR. So we share our objective for each member of our team and follow them and help them to reach the objective.
Yeah, I understand what you mean, but we put them as goals of the team rather than individual. How can you measure the individual's performance? We measure the team's achievement, the team's result rather than individual. But we can always see if you are a good manager or a good leader, you know for sure that who's work well and who doesn't.
Do you remember the woman that wasn't performing in Hung's organization, and they all addressed that? Can you
Yeah.
very quickly tell that story?
When they measure the team result, then there's one lady who lazy and didn't provide any contribution, and they all address it. They when they have a group meeting, every day they have daily stand-up meeting. Hang said that it's just like you X-ray everyone's performance. It's so clear that you don't even need to have any numbers, but you can see that who's work well and who don't.
So
And
first of all, now we have to change the mind of our pupil
No,
to do things.
change the minds of you.
Yeah. This come from me first. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
People, the way people do things is just like the outcome of the system. It's a culture, it's the outcome of the system and the way we manage people.
so, of all the people that Hung had, there was one, or there were several that were an issue, but most people blossom. Most
Yeah.
people really do want to do a good job and really do want to work here. System around them that prevents them from performing. And so,
Mm-hmm.
if we change the way we think about them and we change the system they're in, we're left with a very small number of individuals that we need to actually performance manage.
The roles of leader is to explore people's potential. Tonine, for example, he have a very shy, quiet guy who never communicates with anyone. He's in charge of marketing, like media marketing, and he said, "Sorry, I gave up." If he didn't say anything to anyone, so how can they collaborate, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, give him a chance, talk to him, try to understand why he become like that, and give him some coaching every single day. Do some coaching. After 2 weeks, Tonan came back to me and said, "It's amazing. Thank you, Cherry, that you told me to give him a chance." And I did. Now we found a lot of things that we never know that he's amazing at. Like, for example, he know how to do the website. He know how to deal with a lot of technical problems that we never ever know.
If I understand well, some of the CEOs that you've been working are here today. I would be very interesting if she accepts to tell what's her feeling about this experience, and maybe more important, what happened when she speaks of this to other CEOs about this experience. What are they feeling?
Thank you, Mr. Dominic, and thank you, Dr. Cherry Wu and Rob England, for letting me share. I think that is one of my very best luck for me to meet Dr. Cherry Wu like 8 months ago, because this moment I staying in Bangkok and I have two company in Vietnam and one company in Bangkok. And you know, the company in Vietnam actually run the production for produce the heparin using for the medical. and also the natural organizing, which is normally I must to be in the factory 70% because I'm director. But what happened when in the COVID time, I must stay here in Bangkok. And also during the COVID time, I lose a lot of money. My company lose a lot of money. And that is a time when I met Dr. Cherry Wu. At that time, I was a person who cares so much for the superficial thing, like I care for the office, we spend like 10,000 US dollar just for the office in Bangkok, which is the customer never visited. But our staff, they love it because they can enjoy it so much. And we have so many managers. The moment we notice that we spend so much fixed salary for the people and so much fixed cost for everything for the office, but because we just want to keep our face and we just don't want to cancel everything away. And a lot of managers, they also threaten us like, if you cancel the office, we will leave you. It means that you will lose a lot of sales staff. And that is a moment I realized that, okay, I not talk to the sales staff often. I talk to managers so often, which is I even forget that the sales staff is a person who is so important for me. And in the end, we still decide to cancel the office in Thailand, which is later on, a lot of managers leave us. And later on, I found out it's so luck for me because the one who stay with us is the one who loyal with us and the one who's go over the COVID time with us. And then we have a chance to convert from retail business to the online business and we save our company. The same in Vietnam, our sales double. And I trust my team in Vietnam. I even not to have one single days in Vietnam during this year in Vietnam, but my team love me and I love my team. I feel so lucky to have my team. And this one, I learned a lot from Dr. Cherry Wu because I learned the way she helping us. She still teaching us. She not only teaching company, she teaching about family, and I can learn so much from her. Thank you so much.
And it's true, we run family training as well as work training. From somebody way back said, Cherry, all your examples are family. You should actually do some training. And it's just got a momentum of its own now that people are really interested in hearing Cherry talk about these same new ways of thinking applied in a family context.
Yeah, I feel so grateful to get to know Teal Unicorn during COVID-19. That's one of the most grateful. I'm grateful that I apply what I learned from Teal Unicorn. Well, it's just a small thing, but I see that, hey, there is a signal, there is a way that we can change the way we work. So during that time, I formed a group of volunteer team and I test out what Jerry say. And so happy. Even my volunteer, they come back and at the time we are a group of 10 students, Vietnamese students. They are in the university school and they found that, hey, out there is the way to work and they're so happy. We managed to achieve to deliver 3 workshops for disadvantaged children at that time. And we work like no leader. I get them to involved from beginning to the end process. That's how I am so excited to wake up early in the morning to join to all of us. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Lee.
So, Cherry, the data, there's a lot about reducing staff numbers. People are going to be thinking a lot of the success comes just from shedding staff. That's not the objective.
No, it's not at all. Our objective is to maintain the same number of staff and to create more value. It's not about reducing, not about kicking people out of the office. No, it's not. But the fact is that they are not happy with the new ways. Salespeople tend to take risk. They like it. They like a big sums of money rather than a stream sums of money every single month. They can take risk and they love that. So I think it's about people's mindset. It takes time.
People are cheap or cheaper in Vietnam. So there do tend to be more people. There's probably is a bit more dead wood than there is in Western organizations that have already optimized in that
That's
area
true.
a lot. Hung's getting the same amount of work done with a fraction of the number of people. There's no getting away from that fact.
And they realize that, they don't need that much people actually. Yeah.
And because of their sales model, she was letting anybody have a go. So if someone wanted to come and sell, she'd let them because they didn't get any money unless they sold something. So there were a whole lot of people who were trying to be salespeople and sucked at it and weren't making any money, but they were on her payroll. They were occupying desks. They were consuming overhead, right? it was costing her to run this charitable organization, giving people a chance to try and be salespeople was really what she was doing.
She said, I never ever kick anyone out or fight anyone.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, everybody, for coming along. We really appreciate it. Thank you to Term and Lee for speaking up. We really appreciate that too. This is our first time we've brought the stories in English, and we look forward to more stories from some of the other students that we will bring, because it's really important, I think, to show that this stuff actually works. That to me is there's lots of theory out there, but practical results are a bit thin on the ground, and we're getting lots of them. So we're very proud and excited and happy to bring these ideas to you. We do our little bit for feminism, like we do our big bit. You talk about better results, better lives, better society. We do our bit for feminism in Vietnam. I don't speak a word of Vietnamese, so all I do is make the projector work and carry the bags. And it's really fascinating to watch the eyes bug of some of the men when we walk in and I'm just trailing along behind Cherry and she's doing everything. That it's a wonderful exemplar, which is actually influencing a lot of her students and empowering women in a way that we're very proud of.
The commerce, yes, they invite us to present about agile business and agile management. And when I say I will be the speaker, they just shock. They said, no, Rob have to say something because we caught it. Rob have to say, the man, we want to listen to the man. I said, but the man can't speak Vietnamese. And they said, no, but still, Rob have to say something. I said, okay, Rob have to say something. And Rob stood up and introduced, here's Dr. Vu.
And so I did an introduction just to justify all the money they'd spent on the interpreter so that she could interpret my introduction. And then I handed it over to Cherry, and the poor interpreter sat there doodling all day because I wasn't saying anything. We mess with people's heads, and it's deliberate. I mean, we are disrupting paradigms. We're trying to be an exemplar. We're trying to show things can be different. Okay, that's it. That's a wrap. Thank you all very much for joining us. And thank you, Cherry, for sharing.
Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you so much, Rob.
It's been fun. So find us wherever you can on the internet, people, to explore this further with us. You can find us at our website where we talk more about these ideas of new ways of managing and working. You can find us on Twitter at Dr. Cherry Vu or at Rob_England. We won't use your email that you use to register for anything. So if you want to be connected by email, join our mailing list on the website or find us on Facebook, Cherry in Vietnamese.
Để trở thành nhà quản lý linh hoạt